Hello guys. I'm here today to show you how to use this pump puller kit. What we have here is an SDS pump with a right-on end cap. I need to remove this end cap and I need to remove the housing. And in order to do that, I need this. Now, this is an expensive tool that we make here. It's a custom build specifically for removing the end caps and housings. Do you necessarily have to have this to remove the end cap housing? Absolutely not. If you're creative, you could probably figure out a way to get this thing off. But to remove it safely without damaging your end cap, you may want to use your end cap. This works really well. If you want to go and get yourself an eye bolt to screw into the end cap, you could do that. You just got to find a way to secure the housing, and then you could use like a ratchet strap or something, and maybe you can draw and quarter this pump and using a ratchet strap, and you can pull the end cap off. I'm not saying you have to do it that way. I'm not saying you have to buy the kit. I'm just want to demonstrate that this kit does work, and it works rather well with very minimal hassle. And so it may be worth it. It is an expensive kit, but like I said, it's engineered here. It's engineered specifically for this. And yeah, if you're doing a lot of these, you may want to have this tool handy. If you've only got one pump and you want to rebuild your pump yourself and you don't want to spend the $100 or so for this kit, it's I would highly recommend just getting yourself an eye bolt, and you can get a ratchet strap and you can tug on it and just make sure you got it secured, and try not to damage any parts in the process while you're taking it apart. But let's go ahead and show you how this kit works. So for starters, I've removed our cable guard. I've removed the top cap, and I've just set it down like that, upside down. I'm using it as a little table. And I went ahead and I pulled the middle plug, and I've pulled the 2 bolts. You need to remove these 2 bolts before you try taking this end cap off. If you don't remove these 2 bolts and you try pulling this end cap off, you will break this end cap. This is a right-on end cap. It will break really easily. So always be careful when you're removing this. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and take our bracket here. Now, if it's too tight and it's not going over the end cap, you may need to kind of pull and bend these apart to get started with. I do have these here, little spreaders, makes it nice and easy for me. So I'm going to put it about an inch down below the end cap. And next, I'm going to take and I'm going to put my carriage bolt through. And I'm going to be careful that I don't get these wires pinched. We want those wires to stay out of the way. Let's go ahead and put secure it with the nut here. And I'm not going to tighten it up all the way just yet. I'm actually, see how I got wiggle room here? I want that little bit of wiggle room before I put my T-handle in. But before we put the T-handle on, we do need to apply the nut to the T-handle. So there we go. We can thread that through. Now let's go ahead and bring it up about an inch away from the end cap. We'll take this and we're going to thread this down into the end cap, and we want to thread it until it's completely threaded. We don't want to leave any loose threads. If you only grab it by a few threads, you could risk breaking that end cap when you start pulling on it. So let's just make sure it's threaded all the way. You don't have to crank down on it. We don't want to break the end cap going all the way through. We just want it nice and snug and tight. Once we got it to there, we'll pull up our bracket up about an inch, and now we're going to tighten this down and get it to that point where it's nice and snug, and you will need your 9/16 wrench. Now we want to make sure this is secured enough to where it's not going to slide up and down, but it holds fast. But we don't want to go so tight that we're crushing our housing. So you don't have to go He-Man or Superman on this nut. You just need it just snug. If it starts sliding, you can snug it up a little bit more. Okay, so once it's snug, we now bring this nut down, and we simply just start rotating this nut, and we continue to rotate this nut until the end cap comes loose. So with our 9/16 wrench, we just go around. Now, if you put your fingers and you hold it here, and if you feel that start to slide, you know you don't have it snug enough. In this case, as I'm going around, you can see the end cap is already starting to separate. And I apologize for the wiggling of the camera. And there you have it. There's our end cap. It is now come loose. We can now undo our T-handle. We can pull that out. We can disconnect the wires. I've already done so. And we can slide our end cap out of the way. So there's the end cap that has come off. We still leave this tight. Now we can use our protection plate to protect our motor. We're going to drop that down in there. And now we're going to take the nut off the T-handle. And we're going to drop the T-handle through the top hole, and we're going to thread it onto the nut. And now we can drop our T-handle all the way down and start turning. And we keep turning and turning until our nut reaches the top. And there we go. And so now once we have our nut to the top, we just keep turning the T-handle. We can hold the nut in place with our wrench. And now as we rotate the handle, as you can see, the housing slowly starts to come up. And off it comes. Just like that. It's pretty simple. Works great. The only difficulty is trying to get this bracket on over that end cap. That end cap on the Riton is a little bit wide. It does go on fairly easily over our metal end caps. But there you have it. I hope that shows you how to use this pump puller kit. And once again, do you have to have this tool? No. If you're creative, you could get that end cap off with an eye bolt and a ratchet strap. But like I said, you then got to figure out how to get the housing off. And this is nice because it secures the housing all in one. It secures the housing. It can remove the end cap, and then it can remove the housing from the rest of the pump. So that's why we have this tool. If you're going to be doing a lot of these, I highly recommend the tool. Yeah, it's entirely up to you though. So I hope that helps. Once again, sorry about the shakiness of the video. It's a chest-mounted camera, and yeah. If you got any comments or questions, you can leave them in the comments below. If you want to know where you can get this at, you can call us or look us up online. We're at sunpumps.com. All our information is there, and we sell all sorts of pumps. We have well pumps, we've got jet pumps, pool pumps, you name it. These run on solar. They're a great pump. And yeah, there you have it. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day.